Zombie Apocalypse.
What's going on YouTube? This is 6 Scale Economist. In today's video we're going to be talking about the Hot Toy Spider-Man from Far From Home homemade suit, and as always we're going to talk about the figure first from a collection standpoint, and then we're going to talk about it from an investment standpoint. So just jumping right into it, I'm super pumped to talk about this figure. I love Spider-Man, definitely my favorite character in the MCU, and I was super gassed when they announced this figure. Set to come out in this coming fall/winter time, and this figure is awesome. And first talking about from a collection standpoint, number one reason why this figure is great, and a lot of people I'm sure also say this, posability. You can pose the hell out of this figure. You don't have to worry about the material that we see on the promo edition or the regular homemade homecoming suit with that sticky material. This one you can pose it in the most awesome Spider-Man poses, and you never have to worry about destroying the fabric or anything. And what's great is this suit was really important in Homecoming and in Far From Home, which is awesome. So you get it's not just a suit that you saw very briefly or anything. It's a very iconic suit, so it makes sense to have in your display. And he comes with this sick I forget what did they call it, the AI droid that they had in the movie. It's so awesome that it comes with that, and you can get him some sweet displays just like this with it. So this was a day one, for sure I had to pre-order this figure. This was an absolute must for me as a Spider-Man fan. And I missed out on the homemade suit from Homecoming, which I was a little bummed about because that figure was doing very well in the secondary market. And then they announced this one, and I think a lot of people that figure came down tremendously because I think a lot of people were oh, I'm definitely gonna pick up this one. It's basically the same figure, but I think they've made some minor improvements, and you get an awesome display with it. You get this AI thing, and then you get the sweet display base with these different pixel things, which we saw in the movie. Obviously you get the standard different hands, but and you also get this fake webbing that they use that Mysterio used to mess with him, which is another awesome detail. Love the green too. I think pops out. This figure has so much going for it. And they actually have a photo of this figure right here. So here it is from Secret Base. Sorry if it's a little blurry. But look how big this thing is. This is a lot bigger than I expected to. You're really gonna be able to display him on top of that, which I think is such a sick display for such an awesome figure. So this figure is an absolute must for me for sure. If you're a fan of Spider-Man, and you want you can have the standard suit, the promo edition is great. You can probably pick up the black suit as well, which I'll talk about that one in a future video. But the homemade suit, I think, is where it's at. It's iconic. It's so unique. It's so posable. It just has so much going for it, and I'm just totally gassed up by the figure. This figure is definitely a buy for me. And then from an investment standpoint, you're paying $267. I think it's a very fair price. The fact that you get this AI thing it's a very big object that you get to display with it. You get the dynamic display base. You get a nice plethora of accessories. Given you get the fake webbing that Mysterio puts on him, the different eye goggles, hand sculpts. This figure has a lot going for it, and I think that this figure is definitely going to be one that is going to be a $350 figure. At least in the secondary market once it sells out. And we can revisit my prediction. Once this figure does sell out, and we'll see. If I was right or not, but just use historical evidence. Take the Homecoming suit, Spider-Man. That figure did well. I think it retailed for low 200s, selling in the secondary market anywhere from now at 350 to 425. It's been trending down lately as MCU has kind of stepped out of the spotlight. But Spider-Man, it's not a side character. Not only is it important to the MCU, but there's also a lot of Spider-Man fans who are probably that you don't need to be a MCU fan to be a Spider-Man fan, because he has his own standalone movies. He has his own fan base. So this figure kind of hedges your risk against the MCU falling out of the spotlight. Compare it versus an Ant-Man. An Ant-Man is only in the MCU, and you kind of have to be a pretty big fan of Marvel to want to pick up the Ant-Man. So that's a figure you might get hurt on. But this one it has so much such a great fan base aside from the MCU that you're probably going to be fine. And I think that this figure can easily be a $350 figure. in the secondary market. The one thing that's going to hurt it, two things I think are going to hurt it from an investment standpoint. One, obviously we already have a homemade suit out from Homecoming, so there is the additional supply, and this figure isn't that much different from that one. I think this one is definitely superior, given that you get this AI droid and like a little bit different accessories, but there's going to be a lot of supply of it, given there's already been a figure out on it. And two, I wish that it came with a head sculpt. I wish it came with a Tom Holland head sculpt. That would have helped a lot for this figure. It's not the end of the world, but it definitely would have been really cool to have that accessory. And I think if it had that accessory, this figure would have definitely been, a figure that would do extremely well in the secondary market. But it's even away from that, like I still think it's going to do well from an investment standpoint. You're not going to lose money on this one. If you're a fan of Spider-Man, I think you should just pick up this figure. It's just so posable and so dynamic. Like you can do so much with it. Like I think it's just an awesome figure. But that's only my thoughts. Feel free to let me know in the comment section what you guys think about this figure. This is 6 Scale Economist. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you in the next video.